And again, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Track on 2. My name is Colleen, and I'll be your announcer for today, September 21st. It is currently a beautiful 17 degrees outside, sunny and warm. Post time for the first race is scheduled for 3:10, which is in approximately 25 minutes. The staff and management at the Track on 2 would like to welcome you here. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask the staff. And at this time, if you could please remove your hats and join us for the singing of O Canada, as our outrider and parade marshal, Crystal Cole, and her beautiful horse, Nova, enter the turf track. O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons command. With glowing hearts we see then rise the true North strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. And now as Crystal and Nova make their way around the rest of the track, you never realize how big it is until you're actually out there. We'll go through the corrections and changes on the day. If you'd like to turn your program to race 3, number 1, Trustee. The new driver will be Richard Schneider. Race number 4, number 6, Westridge Warrior, will now be driven by Jacob Cutting. And next in line, race number 5, the number 8, Outlaw Stand and Deliver, will be driven by Nathan Sobey. And those are your changes on the day as we have them right now. Races will start in approximately 22 minutes. And horses will be coming into the paddock here shortly. Possibly in about 8 minutes. So if you want to take a good look at the horses and see them a little more close, head over to the paddock fence to take a look at those horses and the hardworking people on the backstretch who are happy to put on the entertainment for you today. Again, just a reminder, at the Track on 2, it is a family-friendly venue. And we hope your whole family enjoys the day here. Look for the ladies from Perky and Pink who are selling tickets in support of breast cancer. They are selling tickets to win a trip to Vegas. The draw is on September the 29th. After the 3rd and 5th races, today there will be stick races for the kids. Please join us in front of the grandstand after the 3rd and 5th. And after the 4th race, there will be a barn tour. So you can meet at the gate for the barn tour. And as Crystal comes off the turf, we thank her very much, her and the beautiful Nova, for parading with the Canadian flag. If you don't know Crystal's job, she's more than just a pretty face sitting on the back of a horse. Crystal is the parade marshal, so she brings the horses out onto the track. That's not the only thing she does. In the event that there's a horse that's acting up, driver can't get that horse to turn, go to the gate, anything like that, Crystal's out there. She has a really good handle on Nova. It was once said to me, you never know the meaning of teamwork until your partner is a 1,200-pound free spirit. And so the two of them work very well together, and you'll see see her doing a lot with that horse. We hope that she has a relaxing day and all she has to do is sit on that horse and look pretty. But she is out there for the safety of the horses and the horsemen, and we thank her for everything she does. For those people who would like to try their hand at placing a little bet, I hope you got to catch Don McDougall and Fred Gillis and Storm Defoe in Trackside Tips. The great thing is we didn't just get the video. We do have Don McDougall downstairs, and he's happy to help you guys out with your tips. Give you a hand betting if you need anything at all. You just let him know. I'm sure he'd be happy to help you. If you're watching the horses on the racetrack and you see each horse has a number, the large number on the number pad on the horse as they're warming up, we call it, they're warming up. Horses have big muscle masses, so they're just warming themselves up to race a little later, kind of like you would stretch before you go for a run. So the big number on their back is the post position number. That horse will line up to the gate, mobile starting gate, at that number. The small number on the horse's back is the race number. So when you see that horse come by, if you think that horse is pretty, you like the color of it, or that just happens to be your favorite number they're wearing, that might be the only thing you need to go and place a little bet. The ticket sellers are also happy to help you if you need anything at all. Please, again, feel free to ask. As Kelly comes by with this horse, the green is the number 4, so we know that that's the number 4 horse, and it looks like he's also in the 4th race. So if you wanted to place a bet on that horse, you would place a bet in the 4th race on horse number 4. A little bit about race number 1. It is a maiden race. That's for horses that have not won a race. Also eligible maiden claiming $7,500. We start the daily double, races 1 and 2. The exacta, superfecta, and trifecta is available in this race. Goes for a purse of $3,800, and they will race a mile. All of our races today are for a mile, which is the standard race for standardbreds. This is the first mile racetrack in Western Canada. The very first built in Lacombe mile racetrack in Western Canada. Also is the only turf track in Western Canada. Standardbreds don't use that track, but hopefully in the future we will have horses out there of different breeds racing out there for your enjoyment. In race 1, I like Point to the Dragon. He had a nice qualifier after being scratched, and his first start looked really good. So you never know what he can do today, and I would look to Point to the Dragon. I think shortly here, though I can't see him, I think we'll be having Don on the mic, and he's quite a colorful guy, and I'm sure you'll enjoy his monologue and his entertainment. And again, if you have any questions, check Don out. He is downstairs.
Thanks, Colleen. I'm actually down here with James Junquist, who is also a pretty colorful guy. Not just the colors of his race colors, but colorful as in his attitude and personality, which is always great to have around. So race 1 at track on 2 is a maidens and maiden claiming event. These are some horses, younger horses, and there's also some horses who've had 15 to 20 starts, so a real good mix of horses. James and I are going to quickly go through the program and give you what we know about the horses and come up with a selection between them. So we'll start the one horse, Jamie Gray's Doc JR, a Mystery Chase filly, who's had 11 starts. At different times, she's looked like she was going to be a winner and looked really good. Other races, she's looked a little bit in between. Has the rail, so could be competitive in this race. The number 2 is Point to the Dragon. James, what do you know about Point to the Dragon?
I did a little work with Quentin Snyder, helping train this one down. I missed the qualifier by about 3 minutes, and Phil got to work with this filly. Like, she's got high speed. I'm surprised to see she's in for a price, to be honest. But I think she could be the one to beat with the trip.
So you got your checkbook out?
Not yet.
Horse number 3, Mountain Mystery, a 2-year-old filly, also out of the Quentin Schneider barn, a Mystery Chase filly. When I looked at this race, I actually thought she was pretty competitive, a really nice qualifier. If you've worked with a lot of Quentins, what do you think of this one, James?
I think Quentin's barn's hot right now. I picked up a win for him last night. Another one finished 4th in a little tougher than she's been, so it's kind of tough to leave any of Quentin's off a ticket.
Yeah, they were really good. A nice winner up in Leduc last night. So the 4 horse is True Crime out of the Kelly Ducharme barn, a 4-year-old Mystery Chase mare who's had quite a few starts. James, you must have seen this one around the track. What do you think of her?
She's an older mare in with some younger mares, and she's still a non-winners, and I think that's about as far as you need to go.
Okay, we'll move on from there. Number 5, Taj Vader, is a 2-year-old Taj Mahal gelding. Only has 2 starts. 2 starts haven't been great so far. Starting to look like we're hoping for a wake-up. The Taj Mahals have always been a little bit of a later coming horse, haven't they, James?
A little bit. He was a nice horse himself. I don't know if he's handed all that down to his babies, but they seem to come on a little bit later, like the JK Royal Flushes. So.
Yeah, Taj Mahal over hadn't won very much as a 3-year-old and really came on afterwards. So sometimes at 2, they're not always ready to race. The number 6 horse is out of the Carl Archibald barn, a 2-year-old gelding out of Vertical Horizon. I'm on the level. Do you know much about this one, James?
I don't know much about her, but she's younger, second starter, second time out, or third or fourth. Where is she at? Right, that one. Yeah, second time out off a qualifier. Picks up Nathan Sobey to drive. Nathan's been hot lately. Anything can happen in a race, but it's a first start, so you can't expect too much.
And the last horse is Fanatical Flight, a 4-year-old test flight mare out of the Kelly Ducharme barn with Brandon Campbell driving. Brandon might be a little bit of a wake-up call to this horse based on Brian Gray and Kelly on the horse, so maybe a little bit of improved effort with this one, James?
That may work out. Brandon's been one of our top drivers forever, so you would expect him to pick him up a little bit over Kelly and Brian just because he's been around the track that many more times than them. He's a little sharper, and he seems to be able to carry one home pretty good, unless he's fighting me off.
Okay, so let's stick our necks out here a little bit here. So I'm going to give you first choice. Pick a horse in here, and which one do you think is the one that people should be at least including in their tickets as they're building something?
Well, since you're taking the 3, I will take the 2.
Yeah, my choice for sure is the 3, only because of the qualifier. Horse that comes the last quarter in 29 seconds. 2-year-old filly in against some older ones, so not exactly the easiest choice to make, but sometimes fresh horses have a little bit more to go with on than rather than seeing a horse that's gone 15 to 20 starts and hasn't had a win so far. So kind of can get in their head a little bit.
For sure, for sure. And she's a mystery chase, and the mystery chases like to win, so they've been hot lately.
Okay, so that's our analysis of the first race. We'll throw it back up to you, Colleen, for the post-parade. Afterwards, I'll have an interview with James, and I'm sure there'll be some colorful information in that part.
Thanks, Don. I thought James was a little quiet there, which is odd for him. I thought, but maybe he's a little mic shy. I'm sure he'll warm up to it as he did a little bit there. I'm sure he'll warm up a little more. As we wait for the first race, as 10 minutes to post, horses should be making their way into the paddock. Again, feel free to head over to the fence, get a close look at those horses. You still have 10 minutes to place a wager if you so choose, and then they'll be heading out onto the track. Just another reminder, there will be stick horse races after the third race and the fifth race. The kids can join in there. You didn't have to bring your own horse. We will provide those for you. So if you don't have your own horse in tow, remember there will be one here for you. After the fourth race, we'll have a barn tour. Just gather at the main gate down by the track there. And when everybody gets gathered, they'll let you in. You'll go for a little barn tour. Also, the ladies and gentlemen from Perky and Pink are here. This group comes from Lacombe, and they do support all kinds of cancer through the Alberta Cancer Foundation. They did originally start supporting breast cancer, but I know they've been supporting. So raffle tickets for a trip drawn on September 29th for a trip to Vegas. Looks like we've got horses moving in the paddock now, and they'll be coming out onto the racetrack shortly. You see Crystal and Nova down there ready to do their job and do the parade for us. We have 7 starters in the first race, and this should start us off with an exciting start to the day. It is a beautiful day out there. We have a lot going on. There's no lack of entertainment between the birds and the horses in the background and the hardworking track crew. There's a lot going on. The horses for the first race have started making their way onto the racetrack now, and will be racing in about 7 minutes. And following Crystal and Nova, we have the number 1, Doc JR. This horse is owned by Jamie Gray and driven and trained by Jamie Gray. The number 2, Point to the Dragon. This horse is owned by Blair Thomas, trained by Quentin Schneider, driven today by Phil Giesbrick. The number 3, Mountain Mystery, owned by James Rhodes, Quentin Schneider, and Kim Schneider, trained by Quentin Schneider, driven by Mike Hennessy. The 4, True Crime, owned, trained, and driven by Kelly Ducharme. The 5, Tajavator, owned by Sam Johnson, trained by Sam Johnson, and driven today by David Kelly. And the 6, I'm on the Level, owned by Meadowlark Farms and Cheryl Wheat, trained by Carl Archibald and driven by Nathan Sobey. And the 7 rounds out the field, Fanatical Flight, owned by Hugh Jackson, trained by Kelly Ducharme, and driven by Brandon Campbell. And that's the field for the first race, maiden and maiden claiming, going for a purse of $3,800. Daily double, exacta, superfecta, and trifecta wagering today on race number 1. And I think Don has a few little tips and tricks for us there. We'll just send it back down to him.
Well, I think the tips and the tricks are going to come from James actually here. So James, the last year and a half, you've made a real big entrance back into the Alberta standardbred scene. You were here when I was a little bit younger and first came into it. It's a little bit of a break in between, and now you're really into it. You've got a decent-sized stable going along, getting lots of drives. Talk to people a little bit about the re-emergence of yourself into it and kind of the rededication to the sport.
I took about a 5 years absence to figure a few things out about myself. And I started almost a year ago now, and the support I've had from some good friends and people I drove for in the past has been amazing. I've been able to buy one of my own and another one that's a higher end claimer that's more expensive than I've ever owned, which is probably more stressful than I've ever had. But the driving end's been a dream. I think I'm probably driving more confident and better than I have in years.
And you've also got a really cool patch on your new colors here called Pacing for the Cure, Fighting MS. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved in them and why it's something that's really near and dear to your heart.
I have a close personal friend at home, Lisa Holloway, that has MS, and she's been battling it forever. And Kayla Chappell, Dougie Chappell's wife, ended up hooking up with the guy that's running the MS charity. And they reached out to a couple of us out on the West Coast, Doug Chappell, Kelly Hort, and I think Brandon as well. And we all decided we'd try to chip in. And there's a percentage we send every driving when we have, and hopefully we can help out a little bit.
It's an awesome way to start contributing and giving back a little bit. There's a big day up in Leduc tomorrow with Kid Sport, which is another one. I think it'd be really good to see everybody kind of involved in them. So as we're kind of going back and forth, we've made a transition between going from more of a 5/8, 11/16 track now to a mile track. How have you found the difference and change for how your driving style fits, James?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Don, when you drive horses like Purple Rain, it doesn't matter what size track you're on. It just matters where you're at the finish. And, you know, I'm young and pretty, and I can't possibly be beat.
I love it. And if this doesn't ever work out for you, James, you got to have a career in announcing for WWE or somewhere along the line. That's got to be a goal of yours somewhere, right?
You know, I always thought about a radio announcing because I do have a sweet, silky voice. You know, it makes guys like Josh Murphy come all the way down from Century down to Century Mile and watch Purple Rain. You know, Stevie Wiseman showed up from California last night. He said, James, I can't just watch you on TV. I got to come down and see you in real life Technicolor, brother.
I think it's awesome, James. Okay, Colleen, with that color, back up to you to call the first race at Track on 2.
Well, Don, I'm not sure how you did it, but you found the true Purple Rain there in the end. It's good to see James back and getting over his fear of the mic. We are 2 minutes to post time. If you care to wager, now's the time to do it. Don't forget to check your ticket when you leave the windows. You have 2 minutes to wager, and that's just wager carefully and take these 2 minutes to make your choices as you see the horses go by. I see Dave Kelly and the number 5 horse Tajavator coming by us for another look. You'll see to your left, to the north of the racetrack, the mobile starting gate has headed out there. There are 2 gentlemen in that gate. Jim Jakowitz is our starter. He is an official, and he's the official starter. And Bob Smith drives the starting gate. So Bob puts it in place, and Bob will get it rolling. And at one point, Jim takes over the controls. So all Bob has to do is steer, and Jim takes care of the speed. And they line up the horses behind the gate for you to enjoy. So we're now 1 minute to post. Place your wagers early so you don't get shut out. Do it carefully, have fun, and enjoy the races today. And the starter has called the horses to the gate, and the gate is slowly moving. He'll wait a little bit and move slowly to let everyone line up in order. While we're watching the horses line up, I want to thank the crew that's in the booth with me. I definitely couldn't do this without them. They have fantastic video and audio, and it's remarkable to have this kind of support. Number 1, Doc JR. Number 2, Point to the Dragon. Number 3, Mountain Mystery. Number 4, True Crime. 5, Tajavader. 6, I'm on the Level. And 7, Fanatical Maniac. And they're off and pacing. And it looks like the 3-horse wants to head to the front, but Brandon Campbell on the 6, I'm on the Level, decides he's going to take the front instead. And they're starting to line up as they head into the first turn with I'm on the Level in the front. No, I'm sorry, that's Fanatical Maniac should be in the front. And Doc JR is second, followed by True Crime in third. Mike Hennessy, Mountain Mystery in fourth. In fifth, we have the 6, I'm on the Level. 6 is Phil with Point to the Dragon, and the 7 is Dave Kelly with Tajavader, and we went to the quarter in 30 seconds. They're still all lined up that way. They're fairly close together, and Kelly Ducharme tips True Crime as we head to the half. Kelly is now in second with True Crime. It is still Brandon Campbell with Fanatical Flight on the front end. True Crime second, Doc JR third. Mike Hennessy and Mountain Mystery fourth. We have the 6, I'm on the Level. Fifth as Phil tips Point to the Dragon in sixth, and at the back we still have Tajavader. On the front end, going to the half and 101 and 3 now is True Crime. Second, Fanatical Maniac. Third, Doc JR. Mountain Mystery in fourth. Phil Giesbrick has Point to the Dragon in fifth now as they head down the stretch in 3/4 and 130. They're coming down the stretch, and True Crime is still on the front with Kelly Ducharme urging him to keep going. Doc JR is in second with Jamie Gray. In third is the 3-horse Mountain Mystery, and in fourth is Point to the Dragon, Phil Griesbeck. As they come across the line, there are 3 in a row. We'll need a photo for this one. It looks like it may have been the one, Doc JR. We'll wait for the judges to give us an official call on that one. Please hold all your tickets, as I'm sure there will be a photo called for the finish of this race. As we wait for the final time on that race, you could have thrown a blanket over the first 4 there. That's an exciting finish, and we'll all just wait to see what the judges have to say when they make it official. And we've been given the official results. Number 3 is your winner. No. I'm sorry, that was unofficial. Your unofficial results are 3, 1, 4, and 2. Again, please hold all tickets as we wait for the judges to make that official. As the unofficial winner makes his way to the winner's circle, it is Mountain Mystery Owned by James Rhodes, Quentin and Kim Schneider. Breeder is James Rhodes. Trainer, Quentin Schneider. And the driver today, Mike Hennessy. We congratulate all the connections of the unofficial winner, Mountain Mystery. And the judges have now made the finish official. 3-1-4-2. Number 3 paid $8.80, $3 and $2.60. Number 1, $3.50, $2.40. And number 4, $3.40. Exacta 3-1, $16.60. The Triactor $1, 3-1-4 paid $54.05. The 20-cent Super 3-1-4-2 pays $12.98. We'll now have the replay of race 1. As you're watching the replay, the final time of race number 1 was 2 minutes and 1/5. The official final time of race number 1 was 2 minutes and 1/5. That was an exciting race number 1. As we move on to race number 2 in 13 minutes. Race number 2 is Fillies and Mares, non-winners 49,000 life or 25.01 last 3. Optional claiming 10,000. They go a mile pace for a purse of $5,000. In race number 2, you have options of betting on Exacta, Superfecta, and Trifecta. In this race, Take On to Boys. She may be an all against all mares today, but let me tell you, I have seen her take on the boys. She's a powerful mare. Let's look at her to come right back. She just knows how to win, and she's very consistent in doing that. So That's my thoughts. Take on the boys. And now we'll send you back to Dawn.
Sorry about that. I had it in the wrong spot. Thanks, Colleen. Race number 2, fillies and mares, non-winners of 49,000 lifetime, and also non-winners at 2501. I've got trainer driver extraordinaire Nathan Sobey here with me to help me go through the program a little bit. So we'll start with the number 1 horse, Sideline Secrets, 5-year-old mystery chase mare out of Al Gortson's been training, and Jake Cutting's been driving for the last little while. Nate, what do you think of this horse's chances inside here?
It's nice that she has the rail. Jake's going to get her away close, I think, just try to keep her there and keep her competitive. She's in against some pretty tough company. I don't know how well she'll perform in here, but, I hope for Al and Jake's sake that, she keeps up.
Number 2 horse is Golden Echo, a 6-year-old Mach 3 trained by Kathy Reed and driven by Mike Hennessy. Kind of a speed mare, and it kind of depends on the trip most weeks with her, doesn't it, Nathan?
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you there, Don. I think if Mike gets her way close, she'll be more than competitive in this bunch.
3 horse Cutting to the Chase, also a mystery chase mare, 6 years old, out of the Robert Parrish barn with Doug Chappell driving. Been kind of in this class most of the last few races, and some mixed results and stuff. Draws a little bit inside. Pretty trip dependent, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Doug's going to be aggressive with her today. She raced real well last week off my back. She just couldn't out-sprint my mare. She faded to 3rd, but she got beat by 2 tough mares, so I think she'll be in the hunt.
Number 4, UC Hanover, 4-year-old Yankee Cruiser mare of the Sanford Campbell stable with Brandon driving. This is one that was bought from the American sale, I think 2 years ago. It wasn't in last year's sale, but 2 years ago, and had some hot spells, but seems to not be quite as strong right now, Nathan. When you see her out there, what do you think of her?
She's a big, good-looking mare. Brandon does well. I think switching from Century Mile here to track on 2, I don't know if she's going to be close to the front, but, if we get some early fractions, she might be a factor.
My Day, a 4-year-old test flight mare from the Crump stable with Dave Kelly driving. This is one that I used to think liked the front quite a bit, and the last couple starts has been on the back. What do you think of the change in strategy?
Donnie, I think we're going to see a change. I think she's going to be on or close to the front today. I think Dave's going to be real aggressive with her, try and wake her up a little bit.
Speaking of wake-ups, the number 6 horse, Triple Action, an 8-year-old Brandon's Cowboy mare from the Lance Ward stable, who in my opinion is racing almost as good as when she was racing in her stakes years. What would make a mare like that turn around a little bit, Nathan?
She just seems to be getting better with age. She's in some tough company. She's ultra consistent. Jamie's drawn inside probably the toughest one in the race. So I see him pushing me hard. We'll see how this goes. So
with the toughest one, we obviously are talking about the one you're driving. 7-year-old JK Royal Flush mare that Dave Lamont trains, take on the boys. Obviously, you know this mare really well. Usually best when near the front, but can also race from off the pace too. She's actually a lot more versatile than most people would think.
Yeah, I've been kind of one-sided with her, always putting her on the front lately, but with a few of the ones inside of me, it might not be worth the risk leaving too hard today, but we'll see what it looks like.
And the outside horse, Outlaw Stormy Weather, Joe Ratchford training and Phil Giesbrecht driving. 4-year-old Blue Burner mare that I really thought was going to be a good mare when she came up, and she just hasn't been quite as good as what people thought. Paid a decent amount of money for her at 3, and she's been okay, but she's kind of one that's a trip mare, kind of always coming from the back.
Yeah, I got to drive this mare last week at Century Mile, and she was parked every step of the way, and she finished well in hand. So I think Phil's just going to take her back, get her settled, follow the flow, let her sprint for home. I think she's going to be real tough in here.
Well, considering you're in and driving this race, Nathan, and I see them circling around and one without a driver, you might want to run back there and see if you can get up on your trip. I want to thank you a lot for coming over here and wish you the best of luck, obviously, tomorrow up in Edmonton, too.
All right, thanks, Don. Have a good day.
Back to you, Colleen.
Thanks, Don. And as you see, the horses are in the paddock. Feel free to go take a good look, and they'll be making their way out onto the racetrack shortly. Horses are making their way out onto the racetrack. And the horses are now on the racetrack in post parade. And number 1, Sideline Secrets, is owned and trained by Al Gertson and driven today by Jacob Cutting. The number 2 horse is Golden Echo, owned by Riverside Stables, trained by Kathy Reed and driven by Mike Hennessy. The 3, Cutting to the Chase, owned by Robert Parrish and Jerry Hagenars. Robert Parrish trains, Doug Chappell drives. The 4, Usia Hanover, owned by Ray Henry. Sanford Campbell trains and Brandon drives. The 5, My Day, owned by Stephen Crump, trained by Steve Crump, driven today by Dave Kelly. The number 6, Triple Action, we've seen her before. Lance Ward owns and trains, Jamie Gray drives. And the 7, Take On the Boys, Dave Lamont and Donna Wise own, Dave trains, and Nathan Sobey drives. And the 8, rounding out the field, Outlaw Stormy Weather, Joe Ratchford owns and trains, and Phil Giesberg drives today. Those are your horses for the second race. Exacta, Superfecta, and Trifecta wagering, and we go to the post in 5 minutes. Make your bets early, bet carefully, and enjoy this race.
Okay, with Nathan back out there performing his skills as a driver, we're going to talk quickly about a couple of the bets in this race, a couple of the exotic bets. So we'll talk about the Trifecta and the Superfecta, which are different exotic bets as opposed to the win place show bets that are available on some of the races depending on the size of the fields. So the Trifecta wager is trying to pick the winner, the winner and the second and the third place horse all in the right order. 2 different strategies that people use to try to put this bet together. One of them is called a Trifecta box. That's taking either 3 horses, 4 horses, or 5 horses and boxing them so that they can come in any order of those horses. Any of them finish in the 1, 2, 3 spot and your ticket will cash. The other way of betting it, and something I have a much bigger preference to, is called a Triacta key. That's when you're trying to pick a winner and you're trying to pick horses to come second and third behind the horse. It's really easy to figure out the cost of this wager. All you have to do is multiply the numbers together. So if you play 1 horse on top, 2 horses for second, and 3 horses for third, all you have to do is take and multiply 1 times 2 times 3, which is $6 the bet would cost you. No matter what you're doing in handicapping, you're always trying to come up with winners. So whether you try to do it in a box and have a few more options to win, or whether you try to do it as a key to pick a winner and play a few more horses in the back to try to make your ticket play a little bit better, is up to the level of the handicapper and the player who's involved in making the bet. But I think it's really interesting to try a couple of these different bets. The Superfecta you can actually bet at 20-cent bets, and it's actually the same as a trifecta. Only thing you have to do is add the fourth horse. So you're picking the first, second, third, and fourth horses all in the right order. Again, a little bit more difficult, but most times you'll see when the payouts come up, the exotic bets pay a little bit more than what the other ones are. So when you come to the racetrack, you can decide whether you want to bet a couple horses to win in place and have some fun, or if you want to take a shot at a couple of the exotic bets. That's kind of my tips for in the middle of this, Colleen, so we'll throw it back up to you. A couple of the horses that I saw in play here are all towards the outside. I'm going to take a little bit of a shot with the number 5, My Day, but I think this race is really between the 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Do you have an opinion on this race, Colleen?
Thanks, Don. I think I have an opinion on every race. You know me. I would say, again, take on the boys. She has taken on the boys before. She's a nice mare, and I see her doing well in this field. So that's who I would take on the boys. You now have 2 minutes. We are 2 minutes to post. Take one last look at the horses before they go in behind the gate. And if you're interested, go ahead and make a wager and have fun and good luck. The starter has called the horses. As they make their way to the starting gate, we have number 1, Sideline Secrets. Number 2, Golden Echo. Number 3, Cutting to the Chase. Number 4 is Usia Hanover. Number 5, My Day. Number 6, Triple Action. Number 7, Take On the Boys. And number 8, Outlaw Stormy Weather. They come around the top turn and they're headed toward the fair start pole. Here they come. And they're off and pacing, and it's a pretty clean start. The number 4, Usia Hanover, wanting to go to the front, but the number 3, Cutting to the Chase, has decided that's where she wants to be. The number 4, Usia Hanover, is going to drop into place, followed by the number 5, My Day. The number 6, Triple Action, is getting into 4th, and we have Take On the Boys on the outside as we go to the quarter. Number 2, Golden Echo, and trailing the field is the number 1, Sideline Secrets. Went to the quarter in 28-2, and on top we have Cutting to the Chase, followed closely by Usia Hanover. With his hands full, number 5, My Day, and triple action is close on the field as Dave Kelly tips My Day out and is now in second. Cutting to the chase, My Day, you see a Hanover, and triple action. Triple action is now on the move, second over, as My Day with Dave Kelly takes the front. Followed by cutting to the chase, you see a Hanover in third, triple action in fourth, and Take On to Boys is still there looking to do some action. As we went to the half and 57 and 1, the 5, My Day, is on the front. Number 6, Triple Action, is still parked in third, cutting to the chase in second. You see a Hanover in fourth, and Take On to Boys in fifth. Golden Echo is in sixth with Sideline Secrets and Outlaw Stormy Weather. At the head of the stretch, it's still My Day, followed by Cutting to the Chase, Triple Action, and Take On the Boys. Watch them come down the stretch as they want to get to the wire. Still, we have My Day in the front, with Cutting to the Chase very close by a nose. Take On the Boys in third, Triple Action in fourth. They come in front of you, and it's the number 3, Cutting to the Chase, with Take On the Boys, My Day, and it's hard to say who is fourth, straight across the line. We finished that mile in 55. We'll wait for the judges to make it official. Please hold all your tickets until the judges have made it official. Unofficially, your winner is Cutting to the Chase. And here you get another look at the unofficial winner, number 3, Cutting to the Chase, with Doug Chappell driving. That mile went in 1:55. And again, unofficially, we have Cutting to the Chase, Take On the Boys, My Day in third, and Outlaw Stormy Weather in fourth. Mile went in 1:55. And the number 3, Cutting to the Chase, is making her way back to the winner's circle, where I'm sure she'll be met with some very happy connections. This horse is owned by Robert Parrish and Jerry Hagenars. Robert from locally and Jerry from Saskatchewan. Robert Parrish trains, Doug Chappell drove. The horse is bred by James Rhodes. And they make their way into the winner's circle to meet Kevin of Cody Photography. Though the winner's circle is set up in a specific way, at times you'll see the photographer ask the horse and driver to be in a different position depending on what the weather's like and where the sun is shining to get the best photo possible. And again, we congratulate Cutting to the Chase, the unofficial winner of race number 2. It's now official. Cutting to the Chase pays $17.50, $19.70, and $3.80. The number 7, Take On the Boys, $3.50 and $2.50, and the number 5, finishing third, $3.10. The 20 set Super 3-7 all. $2 exactor 3-7 pays $90.10. $1 try 3-7 all pays $51.55. And again, the Super $1 pays 3-7 all $46. Daily Double 3 and 3 paid $74.90. We'll now watch the replay of race number 2. Again, went in 55, and the winner was Cutting to the Chase. And that completes the replay of the second race. Before we send it down to Dawn, I just want to let everyone know we've had a little bit of technical difficulty with our starting gate. As you know, we do use a mobile starting gate, and things can go wrong. We had a little bit of technical difficulty with the starting gate, so there will be a bit of a delay as we wait for the third race. I will let you know, on the board it says 13 minutes to post, but again, we may have a bit of a delay. Race number 3 is non-winners 15:01 last 3 starts, or 36:01 in their last 5 starts. Optional claiming is $4,000, and they've raced a $5,000 claimer and condition claimer in their last start. There was one change earlier we were given is Rick Schneider, the trainer of the number 1 horse, Trustee, will also be the driver today. The number 1 horse, Trustee, will be driven today by Rick Schneider. My thoughts in this race, with the help of a little bit of a betting guardian angel, Outlaw Blue Bayou. Outlaw Blue Bayou has dropped in class, and on his best effort, we think he could take this field at a good price. I'll send it down to you, Don, and thanks everyone for your patience with what we may have a little bit of delay.
I'm in a pretty good spot down here, Colleen. I get to hang out with 2 unbelievable experienced drivers with lots of wins in their stables and lots of wins in their back pocket. Probably a couple more if they decided to get in the race bike again. Both have raced in the retired drivers race. So I'm going to use Fred to help me handicap this race, and I'm going to interview John once they have the post parade and we're ready with the starting car. John, you can pitch in anytime you want in the handicapping part too. He just looked away from us, so I'm guessing that's not one of John's skills he likes to give away. The third race is non-winners of 15:01, last 3 starts, non-winners of 36:01, last 5 starts, and optional claiming of 5,000. So a mix of horses in here, Fred. Number 1 horse, Trustee, was a pretty successful young horse when it first came out, had a little bit of a break. A 6-year-old trusty artist with Rick Schneider training and now driving. What do you think of this horse, Fred?
He's had a history over his career of control issues. He's a bit what I call bullheaded. hard to relax him in a hole. He gnaws on you. Then when you pull him, he doesn't want to go. So he's kind of set in his ways. He's getting older, and as they do that and get away with it, it's tough to difficult to change them. He's still a stallion. Maybe they shouldn't have been.
Okay, the number 2 horse. It's a 10-year-old Freedom's Pass gelding. Sam Johnson, I think, has had this horse probably since birth, with Dave Kelly driving. Aces and Deuces. Kind of in the class where he's usually pretty competitive, sometimes the best in this class. In and out for periods of time, maybe because he's 10 years old. What do you think of this one, Fred?
We just call them hard knockers. He's closing in on $100,000 life. I think he'll get there. He's pretty sound. He's always near in this class down the end. So, I think he'll grind out to 100,000 before it's over.
Probably got to be over 100 starts by now, too. Number 3 horse, Outlaw Blue Bayou. Daryl Cutting trains and Jake Cutting drives. 5-year-old Blue Burner gelding. Also another one who I consider a little bit of an in and outer. Sometimes this horse is really good, and sometimes the horse doesn't throw in its best effort. Into a class as low as I can remember this horse. So this one should be maybe a little bit of a wake-up call candidate.
Oh, I think so. I picked Jacob to win this race for a couple people. I think the class relief is huge. I think the long stretch won't hurt this horse. He does have some talent. I just think he needs to, find a group that he can beat and maybe get brave again.
The number 4 horse, Dig in a Trench, a 7-year-old Armborough Tench Gold gelding that Lance Ward trains and James Junquist is driving. This horse was really good during the wintertime. Got 14 out of 23 in the money. So this horse is definitely a check getter. A little light on the wins, but definitely a check getter.
No, for sure. I've never been a fan of his, but he can win. He's back down too. He's been racing for 5. He's in a little bit cheaper today, but more of a check getter than a winner.
Number 5 horse, Bo's Cowboy. A little bit of an interesting story to this one. 6-year-old gelding by Brandon's Cowboy. Bill Collins is now training this horse, and Nathan Sobey driving. This horse was bought to be a really good one. It had a really good mark as a 3-year-old on the East Coast, and probably at Red Shores, but somewhere out on the East Coast. Hasn't had as much success when he came out west, Fred. What do you think the answer, and Bill's got this horse actually racing pretty good, but what do you think the answer when they come that direction is?
I'm not sure. I mean, different climate, different surface, different racing style, but the horse didn't pan out. He was a bad buy. $30,000+. It happens. The other side you buy them for 4 and they're worth 40. But this horse didn't pan out. But having said that, Bill seems to have him a smaller stable, spending some time with him, and he's got him racing really good.
Yeah, it's great when you've got the time to spend with them as opposed to being in a bigger stable where it just kind of becomes a numbers game a little bit. Number 6 horse, Dream Chase. 5-year-old Mystery Chase gelding out of the Robert Parrish barn with Phil Giesbrecht driving. Robert Parrish had one in the last race or 2 races ago that popped up and really put in a good effort, Fred. What do you think of Dream Chase?
Again, one of them horses that is always around, gets money, gets checked, but just doesn't seem to get the job done a lot. Young Parrish boys have done pretty well with the training, overall. But this horse, I don't know, he just seems to be a player instead of a leader.
The number 7, Explain Not Complain. 4-year-old Mr. Saratoga gelding out of the Quentin Schneider barn with Mike Hennessy driving. I really thought this horse was going to be competitive last week, Fred. It really didn't put in much of an effort. 7th beaten 14. But really, based on the classes and the horses this horse has been racing, really looks like he should be competitive in this field.
Yes, I picked him last week too, and he went to the back and just didn't seem to fire. Somebody said they thought James was snoring back there. I don't know. Mike Hennessy's up today. You can bet he'll wake him up, and I'm gonna say he's got a good shot again today.
Number 8 horse, Casino Events. Robert Parrish trained also with Doug Chappell driving, who just won the last race. 7-year-old Classic Card Shark mare. Mare in against some of the boys, draw on the outside. Maybe a little bit of a tougher journey in here, Fred?
It is. She'll need some breaks and everything. She is pretty consistent for the mare, but she'll need some breaks from the outside here, and maybe Dougie can maneuver a trip with her somewhere in the lane.
And the 9 horse, Tahuya Rico. 9-year-old All-American Cobalt gelding with Don Howlett, a trainer and driver. Don Howlett's had a lot of success on the Manitoba Fair Circuit, comes out into Alberta once in a while, races some horses out here. Tell us a little bit about Don and how much success you think this horse could have in here.
Well, Don has represented Manitoba in the driving championship, Western driving championship a couple times. I think if you look at his driving average, he's got a 659, 31 wins out of 63 drives. He knows how to get the job done. This horse has been racing good, and sometimes you need to see them race once from Manitoba. Some of them really move up, some not so much. So it's an unknown.
Yeah, so if we're going to stick our necks out here, Fred, I think you've already committed to a horse. Your horse is Outlaw Blue by you?
Yeah, I'm on Jacob Cutting's bandwagon for this race.
Okay. So I'm going to take the 9 Tahuya Rico, make a little bit of a switch from our taped version of the show, but I'm going to try to take a shot at this horse. I think, as you said, Don has a lot of success. Sometimes first start out here out of the 9 hole, could get a pretty salty trip. And I think I remember Tahuya Rico when he was out here before going to Manitoba, pretty competitive in these kinds of fields.
Well, you usually like to pick the favorites at 2-1. I got Jacob at 16-1. So anyway, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what they go off at too. Thanks a lot, Fred. We'll throw it back up to you, Colleen. The horses are doing circles, so hopefully that means that the starting car isn't too far away.
Thanks, Don. And the horses are now making their way out onto the racetrack. And Rick Schneider brings the one out onto the track for us. The number 1, Trustee, owned by Tony Chan, driven and trained by Rick Schneider. And the number 2, casually makes his way in front of the camera. Aces and Deuces. Sam Johnson trains and owns. Dave Kelly drives. The number 3, Outlaw Blue Bayou, owned by Melinda Smith, trained by Daryl Cutting, and driven by Jacob Cutting. The number 4, Diggin' a Trench, owned by Jamie Ward, Stephen Ward, trained by Lance Ward, and driven today by James Junquist. The number 5, Bo's Cowboy, is owned by Tammy Merschel and William Collins, trained by William Collins, driven today by Nathan Sobey. The number 6 is Dream Chase, owned by Robert Parrish and William Roberts, trained by Robert Parrish and driven by Phil Giesbrecht. And the 7, Explain Not Complain, owned by QKS Racing, trained by Quentin Schneider, driven by Mike Hennessy. The number 8, Casino Events, owned by Bob Parrish, trained by Bob Parrish, and driven today by Doug Chappell. And the number 9, a new horse to the track here, Tahuya Rico, owned by Wanda and Howlett and Ralph Morrow, trained by Don Howlett, and driven today by the trainer Don Howlett. You have 3 minutes to post to make your wagers early, and again, enjoy the race. We're back down to Don.
I thought when I have the mic, John, my questions are without limits. So I'm here with John Baxter, longtime trainer, driver, still in the business. I'm actually surprised to see him back here for the nice Alberta winter we've got coming, when you could be down in Florida and a little bit more of a heat and a little bit more of a different area. So John, tell us a little bit about your quick little foray out to Ontario and going back and forth with a couple pretty high profile stables.
Well, I worked for a little while for Casey Coleman. For no particular reason, just to do something different for the summer, and it was kind of fun, and decided to come back here.
So you've hooked up with Dave Kelly, from what I understand, and Dave's expanded his stable quite a bit, has quite a few young horses. I thought when he told me that you were coming working for him, it was a perfect mix. As your career has gone on, and especially the last part, you've always been known as being really good with young horses and having patience. Tell me what it's like working for an East Coaster like Dave.
Well, Dave's a great guy. It's fun working for him. He's got some nice horses, and it's a good spot to be.
So where's he at with his yearlings that were bought at the sale? Have you actually hooked them up to the bike and got them jogging yet, or where are you at in the process?
No, they've just had the harness on and been a little line driving around, that kind of stuff. Yep.
Okay, so we're not going to go into all the wins in your career, but for people who want to look back and be a little bit nostalgic, give me one or two, John, that really stick out for you, and a couple of the horses that you remember and definitely were some of your favorites to drive.
Well, conditional, I guess, in the Nat Christie. Also conditional, getting beat in the Western Canada Pacing Derby. That stood out. I got to ride behind As Promised once. That was good. He was awesome. You know.
The one that I think of is Lemoyne Hanover. I think you sat behind that horse quite a bit, didn't you?
I had him for quite a while. We trained him for quite a while. Like, he was a good free-for-all horse. One season he made a little over 100,000 as a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, which is nobody's done it, I don't think, since.
So you started your career in Ontario, I'm assuming. Is it a family business, John, or how did you actually get involved in training and driving?
No, my dad was a farmer. We had a neighbor that had harness horses, and I hung around with him. Yeah.
Were you ever much of a punter, or was it more from you were a fan of hard work?
I was the worst handicapper, and still am, I think, in the world. You know, yeah.
Somehow I found that tough to believe, especially based on the picks I made last week. John, you can't be the worst handicapper. But so when you're sitting behind some of these horses and getting them ready for races and stuff, and let's say go a couple days before when they're giving these horses their last tune-up and stuff, tell me some of the things that the trainers try to do to get their horses ready for race day like today.
Well, I guess it depends on the horse, you know. Like in 2 days out, they usually train them a little bit more. Than the rest of the time they're jogging, and you know, depending on the horse, the class of the horse. I mean, the good horses, top horses, they train a little faster between races. You know.
Perfect. Thanks very much, John. I really appreciate the time. Looks like they've got the starting car out there and the horses are heading towards it, so I'll send it back up to you, Colleen.
Thanks, Don. We are 0 minutes to post, and the starter has called the horses. Just a reminder, we do have the driver change on number 1. Rick Schneider will drive this horse he trains. And after the third, don't forget, kids, we have stick races in front of the grandstand. So come cheer on those kids in the stick races. Again, number 1, as they line up to the gate, is Trustee. Number 2, Aces and Deuces. Number 3, Outlaw Blue Bayou. Number 4, Digging a Trench. Number 5, Bo's Cowboy. 6 is Dream Chase. 7, Explain Not Complain. 8, Casino Events. And rounding out the field, the 9, Tuhuyuriko. As they settle in behind the gate and they head down the stretch, they're at the fair start pole. Here they come. And they're off and pacing, and it looks like a charge to the front by number 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we'll see who gets to the front. Looks like Bo's Cowboy is going to take the front before we get into the turn with number 3, Jacob Cutting, and Outlaw Blue Bayou. The 4, Digging a Trench, is in third. The 7 is On a Break, Explain Not Complain. Just a little rough on the outside there. In fourth, we have the 2, Aces and Deuces with Dave Kelly. In fifth, we have the 1, Trustee, with our driver, Rick Schneider. The 6 is in 6th, and the 8th is in 7th, with the horse on a break, still trying to get it back together. And we go to the quarter in 27 and 4, and we're on the move as the 3 tips out. We have Bo's Cowboy on the lead. Outlaw Blue Bayou has tipped and is in 2nd. Digging a Trench is in 3rd, and Aces and Deuces in 4th. There's a lot of movement going into that turn. We're coming around the 1 horse. The 2, Aces and Deuces, is still on the move in 4th. The 6 has tipped out and is in 5th. The 1, Trustee, is in 6th. The 8, Casino Events, in 7th. And the 9, Tuhuyuriko, is at the back of the pack, with the breaker still trying to catch the field. As they come down the lane, We still have Nathan Sobey on the front with Dave Kelly and Aces and Deuces coming ahead. And Dave's now flying home with Aces and Deuces. Number 3, Outlaw Blue Bayou is second. Number 5, a close third. And number 4, Digging a Trench for fourth. Unofficially, we have Aces and Deuces in 155 and 1. Unofficially, that is Aces and Deuces, 155 and 1. And we'll wait for the judges to give us the official results. Unofficially, we have number 2 as the winner, Aces and Deuces. Number 3, Outlaw Blue Bayou, second. Number 5, Bo's Cowboy in third. And number 4, Digging a Trench in fourth. That mile again went in 155 and 1. Your unofficial winner is the number 2, Aces and Deuces. Please hold all your tickets until the judges have declared the third race official. And again, don't forget we have stick races. We'll be starting here after the replays, I believe, for race number 3. Do we have the 2 back yet? And as Aces and Deuces makes their way back into the winner's circle, Sam Johnson owns and trains this bay gelding, who is 10 years old, out of Freedom's Pass, Newport Beauty in Western Hanover, and Dave Kelly drove that horse. Congratulations to the connections of Aces and Deuces. The mile again went in 155 and 1. The judges have now declared the results official. Number 2, Aces and Deuces, paid $5.40, $4.10, $2.50. Number 3, $7.60, $3. Number 5, $2.10, and then the 4 to round out the 4. $2 exacta, 2-3 pays $77.80. $1 try, 2-3-5 pays $56.45. The $1 super, 2-3-5-4 paid $339.70. And your official rundown for that race: number 1, Trustee, finished 8th. Number 2, Aces and Deuces, was your winner. Number 3, Outlaw Blue Bayou, finished 2nd. Number 4, Digging a Trench, finished 4th. Number 5, Bo's Cowboy, finished 3rd. 6, Dream Chase, finished 5th. 7, Explain Not Complain, finished 9th. 8, Casino Events, finished 6th. And 9, Tahuya Rico, finished 7th. From the top down, we have 8, 1, 2, 4, 3, 5, 9, 6, 7. And up here shortly, we'll have the replay. as we get to the end of our replay, our Grand Marshal down there is lining up the horses for the stick race. I think the hat's going to be the signal, and they're off. And look at that blue, number 2. I'm hoping he's number 2. Oh, I didn't even get a chance to call the whole race. Good job. That's fantastic. Maybe that was a relative of Outlaw Blue Bayou because he just blew by them all. As we prepare for race number 4, I'll just go through the condition of the race. Race number 4 is non-winners of $40,000 life, optional claiming $7,500. We have exacta, superfecta, and trifecta wagering. Purse is $3,400. And my thoughts on this race, I'm starting to think I might maybe should go with my heart instead of what I see on paper sometimes. I'll take Bad Blood, and this is both. It could be tough in here for him, but let's go with the heart bet, and I will take the number 3, Bad Blood, to the Dave Kelly stable. Dave's driving him today. He's just a little fella, but he's got a ton of heart. So let's see what he can do. And thank you, everyone, for the stick races. We are 12 minutes to post, and I will send it down back to you, Don.
Thanks, Colleen. I'm down here with Doug Chappell, who's going to be helping me with the handicapping of this 4th race, which, as you said, is non-winners of $40,000 and also has 7,500 claimers attached to it. Number 1 horse, Here Comes the Thunder, 5-year-old Mystery Chase gelding out of the Quentin Schneider barn with James Junquist driving. Doug, you've got to have an opinion of this horse, and especially an opinion of the driver.
Well, yeah, I got an opinion on both of them, really. I love the horse's name, first off. Here Comes the Thunder. How do you get any better than that? When it comes to the driver, well, you know, there's room for improvement, but Quinny's a good trainer, so he'll do the best he can there. Yeah, other than that, that's about it.
Okay, so number 2 horse, 7-year-old If I Can Dream gelding that Marissa Klein-Saucer training and Ryan Grundy driving. This horse had a nice little streak where this horse was really a top-notch horse. Come back down to its level a little bit more. What do you think of the chances of this one, Doug?
With an inside post, actually, yeah, I'd favor this horse in this class for sure. The trainer seems to know what she's doing, and the driver definitely has the experience behind him. So,
the number 3 horse, Bad Blood, 4-year-old Custard the gelding, colt still. Dave Kelly training and driving. Won last time at this class. What do you think of this horse's chances in here, Doug?
You know, he can really pace home late in the mile. If they go some big fractions up front, Bad Blood can definitely close down the lane.
Number 4 horse, Marv the Rat, a 7-year-old gelding out of One Big Buster. Geez, I really don't know that stud too much. That's trained by Stephen Crump, actually Kelly doing most of the training as Steve recovers from knee replacement, and Nate Sovey driving. This horse really seems to pop up every once in a while, Doug, usually paying a pretty good price. What do you think of Marv the Rat?
Right, again, it's another inside post that you really have to favor this horse. When he gets away close, he can compete.
Number 5 horse, Cajun Beat, 7-year-old Better's Delight gelding, Greg Manning training, and Phil Giesbrecht driving. I think, did you used to drive this horse a little bit, Doug, or I thought I remembered you on this horse once or twice?
Yeah, actually, I really like this little guy. He's not much bigger than a Great Dane, but his heart is the size of a school bus.
Yeah, he really seems to throw some good performances at times. The 6 horse, Westridge Warrior, a 9-year-old Blissford Hall gelding with Paul Davies training, and Jay Cutting is now driving. This is a gray one that I always know that Paul has a pretty interesting opinion of. What's your opinion of it, Doug?
You know, I'm going to stick with Paul on this one, but hell of a driver's change. I really think that's going to improve this horse quite a bit.
It's good going with the young guy. I think every time this horse race is bad, Paul always says it's Nicole's horse as opposed to his. The number 7 horse, Outlaw Blue Ice, 5-year-old Blue Burner gelding, Mike Hennessy training and driving. This horse has been on a real roll, won 3 or 4 in a row, and was also a pretty nice little 3-year-old before obviously had some problems to be down in this level. Mike has a streak going. Do you think it can continue, Doug?
Absolutely. You know, lightning strikes at the same place all the time.
4 in a row. I called it against it last time. I picked against it again now. It'll probably surprise me again. And the 8 horse Duke It Out, 6-year-old Trueland Hanover gelding. Kathy Reed is training and Brandon Campbell is driving. Horse that I always remember being a lot better front end horse than a back end horse, drawing the outside with not that much speed inside of him. It actually could be a race that sets up not too bad for this horse.
Yeah, it's really just the 8-hole that's really going to affect this horse, but he's a game little horse. And with Brandon down, yeah, you got the 8-hole. You're screwed.
Okay, we'll throw it back up to you, Colleen, for the post-parade, and when you come back down here, I'll have an interview with Doug.
Thanks again, Don. Great job, and thank you for your support down there. As the horses make their way onto the racetrack, you'll see James Junquist, Purple Rain, is on the one. So you heard him earlier. I just noticed, I know he's been driving in other races, but he is on the one today, so you'll see some action out there. And your horse is on the track for race 4. Here Comes the Thunder, owned by QKS Racing, trainer Quentin Schneider, driven today by James Junquist, Purple Rain. The number 2, I Can Dream. This horse is owned by Marissa Kleinsasser, trained by Marissa Kleinsasser, driven today by Ryan Grundy. The number 3, Bad Blood. He is owned by Dave Kelly and Mike Dix. Dave Kelly trains and drives this little horse. And number 4, Marv the Rat. Marv is owned by Corey Manning of Manitoba, trained by Steve Crump, driven today by Nathan Sobey. These guys aren't in a rush. They're saving their energy. Cajun Beat, number 5. Greg Manning and Rajesh Kumar own this horse. Greg Manning trains. Phil Giesbrecht drives. Number 6, with our driver change, Westridge Warrior, owned by Nicole Davies, trained by Paul Davies, driven today by Jacob Cutting. We got a bit of a bunch here. Number 7, Outlaw Blue Ice, owned and trained and driven by Mike Hennessy. And as the 8 makes his way out there, we have Duke It Out, owned by Riverside owned by Riverside Stables, trained by Kathy Reed, driven today by Brandon Campbell. That's your field for the 4th. Remember, folks, that you want to bet early so that you don't get shut out. Also, after this 4th race, we will have barn tours. Just line up at the gate closest to the racetrack, and someone will take you for a barn tour. The Pacers are coming back by you, some of them another time. Just check them out and enjoy the races. Back to you, Don.
Thanks very much, Colleen. Okay, so Doug, you were kind of involved in the Alberta scene a while ago, out in BC, back and forth. Racing's kind of in your family. Tell me what your career path is right now and what you're looking forward to over the next couple months.
To be honest, I'd like to just get through this fall here in Leduc, kind of see how that meet goes. California kind of seems like an option this winter. Other than that, I just want to drive horses and just keep having a happy life.
Okay, so let's talk about the winning drive you had, just a heads-up drive just a couple races ago. Tell me how that worked out, and tell me about that horse, how much you knew him beforehand.
Cutting to the chase, I know her a little bit. A little more than a little bit, I guess. I've drove her quite a bit here. I really like the mare. She kind of could do it either way, so I just figured the front end was the way to go today.
So being back with the races in Leduc and obviously here in Lacombe, a lot closer to home than it was for you in the summertime. Tell me a little bit more about how much less stress there is when you're so much closer rather than being down in Calgary the whole summer.
Well, to be honest, Don, I got a 6-year-old in grade 1 and a 4-year-old, and they're pretty well all I do other than being at the barns. So being close to home in Leduc is ideal. It's pretty well all I want to spend my time in.
That's a pretty cool part of life if you can have it that way. And you guys were always involved usually with a young horse in your barn too. Do you have anything young coming up, or are you just more race horses? I saw you were going to qualify back What's Up Buttercup, one that's kind of near and dear to both your and Kayla's heart. So tell us a little bit about what's going on in your stable.
No young horse at the moment, just some cheap claimers at the moment. But yeah, actually, What's Up Buttercup, probably a couple years ago, I didn't have any horses, wasn't driving anything. And I bought her from Dave and Donna Wise, and the rest is kind of history. So it's kind of been a fun ride with her to get me back out here.
And it's always a little bit of a struggle when you're trying to get drives and going back and forth. Tell me the best way that you've found of kind of when you get on a horse and you start having success like what you have with the parishes, you just got to kind of keep rolling, and as things come your way, it seems like it's a little bit of a tough go sometimes for some guys who are pretty talented drivers.
Yeah, actually, it seems a little harder for me than other guys, I guess. I don't really have a whole lot going on right now, but when I just hop behind a horse, I just do my job.
And from what I've seen, most of the times you do a pretty good job when you're out there, Doug. Want to thank you very much for your time coming over here and handicapping, and I'm also going to put you on the line and get you to pick a winner here.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Don. If I'm going to go with anyone here, I'm going to go with some Shred City news here. I'm going to go with Here Comes the Thunder and the Purple Rain. But it's going to be a storm coming with them thunder, so I'm going to go with Outlaw Blue Ice probably here.
Stick with Mike and see that the streak keeps continuing going on.
Keep on going.
Okay, well, I'm going to take Bad Blood. I'm going to go on Colleen's Bandwagon. Think that this big, long stretch is going to help this gelding coming home. Hopefully it's an exciting race. Thanks again, Doug.
Awesome. Thanks, Don.
Thanks, guys. Great job out there. We are 2 minutes to post. 2 minutes to post. Just a little update on the weather as you watch these horses. It is now 20 degrees under the beautiful sunny skies in Lacombe at the track on 2. The starter has called the horses, and they're beginning to line up behind the starting gate. Number 1, Here Comes the Thunder with James Junquist. Number 2, I Can Dream with Ryan Grundy. Number 3, Bad Blood, Dave Kelly. Number 4, Marv the Rat with Nathan Sobey. Number 6, Cajun Beat with Phil Giesbrick. That was 5. Number 6, Westridge Warrior with Jacob Cutting. Number 7, Outlaw Blue Ice, Mike Hennessy. And number 8, Duke It Out with Brandon Campbell. And they're making their way to the Fair Start Pool. Here they come. It is a fair start. And they're off and pacing. And your 8 horse, Duke It Out, looks like he wants to go to the front. But the 5, Cajun Beat and Phil Giesbrick, don't look like they want to let him. Faster than that is the number 2, I Can Dream with Ryan Grundy. Looks like he wants to take the front, but Brandon is still taking Duke It Out to the front there. Here comes the Thunder. James Junquist is now in third, and Phil Giesbrick with Cajun Beat is in fourth. We then have the 4, Marv the Rat with Nathan Sobey in fifth. The 3, Bad Blood with Dave Kelly in sixth. And the 1, Outlaw Blue Ice with Mike Hennessy. And then Westridge Warrior with Jacob Cutting. Quarter went in 27-3, and Brandon Campbell did get the front with Duke It Out of the 8 hole. But on the move already is the 1, Here Comes the Thunder, and James Junquist. The 2 is now in third position, I Can Dream. And the Phil with Cajun Beat is in fourth. Marv the Rat in fifth. We went to the half in 56. We have all kinds of action inside and outside here today, folks. We have the 8 horse still on the front, Duke It Out, as the 1, Here Comes the Thunder, tries to put a nose in front. 3 is still I Can Dream. 4 on the outside, Outlaw Blue Ice. And we got somebody going 3 wide. It looks like Nathan Sobey with Marv the Rats coming 3 wide. And they're all in a bunch as they turn to come for home. We have going up the inside, Brian Grundy with I Can Dream. Coming through the middle is Nathan Sobey and Marv the Rat. Far on the outside is Outlaw Blue Ice and Mike Hennessy. And as Mike urges him to the front, and he's a clear leader, the number 4, Marv the Rat, and I Can Dream will fight it out for second. Wow, that's tight. Unofficially, number 7, Outlaw Blue Ice, takes race number 4 in 55-1. Again, this is unofficial. Please hold all your tickets until we get the official finish from the judges. Unofficially, your winner is number 7 in 155-1, Outlaw Blue Ice. Outlaw Blue Ice is loving the track on 2. That's Outlaw Blue Ice 4th win in a row here. He enjoys his time here at the track, exercising in the morning and often out in the pens playing in the afternoon. Outlaw Blue Ice is leased, trained, and driven by Mike Hennessy. Unofficially, your order of finish for the top 4 is the 7, Outlaw Blue Ice, your winner. 2, I Can Dreams, finishing second. 4, Marv the Rat in third. And the 3, Bad Blood in fourth. As Mike and Outlaw Blue Ice make their way to the winner's circle, again, this horse is owned by Mike, trained by Mike, and driven by Mike Hennessy. The breeder is Outlaw Stables. It's a bay gelding 5-year-old. Sired by Blue Burner. The mare is Billy J. Blue Chip, and her sire is Blissful Hall. We congratulate all the connections of Outlaw Blue Ice. And again, that mile went in 155-1 for your winner, number 7, Outlaw Blue Ice. Officially, your winner, Outlaw Blue Ice, paid $5.40, $7 and $3.90. Number 2, I Can Dream, $12.90, $9.80. Number 4, Marv the Rat, $4.50. And to round out your top 4, number 3, $2 Exacta, 7.2, paid $124.70. $1 Try, 7.24, paid $103. $103 for the $1 Try. $1 Super, 7 all, paid $4.20. Again, your top 4, 7, 2, 4, 3 is official. Final time in 155-1. And now we'll go to the replay of race 4. Don't forget, line up for your barn tours. They'll be starting shortly if they haven't started already. Attention folks, the barn tour is about to start. If you go by the green gate where Crystal and her outriding horse Nova are, Caitlin is waiting to take you on a barn tour. Ask her a million questions. I know her well, and she knows the industry and the horse as well. So please head over to the green gate where Nova is, and Kurt is, and Caitlin is, and let me tell you, it's quite an experience. You get to go behind the scenes where many people have not gone, meet the horses, meet the hardworking people in the backstretch, and enjoy your barn tour. Follow that gentleman in the nice jacket and hat there, and he will take you to the barn tour area. Thank you, and enjoy your tour. Let's go through the rundown for race 4 now. Number 1, Here Comes the Thunder, finished 7th. Number 2, I Can Dream, 2nd. Number 3, Bad Blood, 4th. Number 4, Marv the Rat, 3rd. Cajun Beat, number 5, was 5th. Westridge Warrior, number 6, was 6th. 7, Outlaw Blue Ice was your winner. And number 8, Duke It Out, finished 8th. From the top down, 7, 2, 4, 3, 5, 6, 1, and 8. And that mile went in 1:55 and 1. For race number 5, it is a classified race, going for a purse of $5,000. Your betting options for this race: exacta, superfecta, and trifecta for your exotic bets. And in this race, I'll choose Tally Ho. Tally Ho usually finds one to beat him, but let's go with him today because I think with this beautiful sunny weather and so many people to cheer him on, he's going to get this one. Today is his day. Enjoy the races, and we'll go back to you, Don.
Definitely lots of that. Okay, thanks very much, Colleen. As you said, the 5th race is a classified event with lots of good, solid horses inside here. So for some good, solid horses like this, we actually decided we're going to use handicap extraordinaire Jim Reed, who's also the business development manager here on Track On 2. So Jim and I are going to go through this program, and we're going to see if we can help the people out and find a winner in here. Jim sounds like he's been picking lots of winners. I've had one or two, so we'll see if we can have a little contest at the end. So the number 1 horse is Mystic Ruler, 7-year-old Chemistic gelding. Quentin Schneider training and Mike Hennessy driving. When you look at the program, what do you think of Mystic Ruler, Jim? A lot of wins on there.
Yeah, and I like the fact he might get the front fairly easy. And getting that coming home in 29 seconds, I think he'll have a real big chance in this race.
Number 2 horse, Mystery Dragon, a 5-year-old Mystery Chase gelding. Ricky Snyder is training and driving. Horse got claimed back and forth a couple times this year, but Ricky's got the horse back. I'm sure planning on taking this horse to California eventually in the winter, but really fits closing up. Maybe a little bit of a tough bunch for him though, Jim.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, there's a little bit of speed up front. I think this horse will have a little bit of a better chance coming from behind, but needs a little action up front to make success for himself.
Number 3 horse, Northfield Nelly, a 4-year-old Mystery Chase mare, Sanford Campbell training and Brandon Campbell driving. The only mare in this class, but she's a pretty good mare, Jim. How do you think she's going to stack up against the boys in here?
Well, I like the fact that the Campbells are involved in the horse, and when the Campbells are involved in the horse, both the training and driving, that always gives the horse a chance.
9 wins and $53,000 so far this year. Tells you this horse is fit in a lot of classes. Number 4 horse, Outlaw Dance with the Devil. 4-year-old Smart Shark gelding with Kathy Reed training and Rennie Goulet driving. This is a horse that Dan LeBlanc had a lot of success with earlier in the year. Horse has been off for a little while. Unfortunately, Dan had a little bit of an accident in Calgary. But this horse had a little bit of talent. What do you think of this horse, Jim?
Yes, I really like this horse today. If it's ready, it'll be really tough.
After about a month and a half off, probably needs a little bit of a trip, but this horse has always been closing kind of towards the end. Maybe a race that kind of fits for him. Snoop DeLion is the 5 horse, 6-year-old Yankee Skyscraper gelding from the Crumps family stable with James Junquist driving. Another one just qualified only after a couple weeks off. Tough spot for this horse, but he was an old classy campaigner, made $50,000 lifetime, but I always seem to remember him being very competitive.
Yeah, I think the horse will be competitive, and it looks like a fairly competitive race, which makes this horse just a little better.
Yeah, there's going to be some people looking for a trip for sure. 6 horse, Tolly Ho, 6-year-old Yankee Cruiser gelding, Joe Ratchford trains and Phil Giesbrecht's driving. This is one that originally Kim Dressler brought to the races and is no longer involved in it. Joe's had a lot of success since buying this horse from him. What do you think of this one, Jim?
Well, it would be my horse today if I was betting. I'd probably bet $2 to win on the horse. I really like him.
You'd be stepping up to the windows with $2, eh? Lots of confidence. Number 7 horse, Senga Nitro, 5-year-old Blue Burner gelding. Ryan Grundy is training and driving. This is a horse that's really mystified me, Jim. I thought this horse would really be looking for this big, long stretch. Had a lot of success as a young horse, and I've really been waiting for this horse to pop. Do you think today's the day, or is the outside post going to be a little bit too much?
I think the outside post might be a little much, but again, if the speed happens at the front end of the race, I think he'll be coming down the stretch with some action.
The 8 horse, Outlaw Stand and Deliver, Paul Davies training and Nathan Sobey driving. 5-year-old Smart Shark, who was claimed earlier in the year from Brian Gray and has had lots of speed in the race. Speed in the 8-hole, not necessarily the best combination.
Well, if this horse leaves a little bit today, picks up a position, I think it'll be really tough at the end as well.
Okay, so we're going to step out here and make a pick. Your pick was the 6 horse, Tolly Ho. Is that the one that you're standing behind?
I'd put $2 to win on that horse if I was a betting man.
Okay, I'm going to take one more shot at Senga Nitro. This horse doesn't win this week. I'm completely done. Never again. At least till next week anyway. Back up to you, Colleen. I'll interview Jim in between the post parade.
Thanks, Don. The horses are moving around in the paddock. And we'll be heading on to the racetrack shortly. We are 7 minutes to post in race number 5. And don't forget, after the 5th race, we're going to have some more stick horse races in front of the grandstand. Come and cheer these little guys on as they race their horses from pylon to pylon. And the number 1 horse, Mystic Ruler, is turning to the north as Mike brings Mystic Ruler in front of the grandstand for the first time. This horse is owned by QKS Racing, trained by Quentin Schneider, driven today by Mike Hennessy. The number 2, Mystery Dragon, owned by Bill Woodland, trained by Rick Schneider, and driven today by Rick Schneider. And the number 3, Northfield Nellie, owned by Ray Henry, trained by Sanford Campbell, driven by Brandon Campbell. And the 4, we heard about Outlaw Dance with the Devil, trained by Dan LeBlanc, owned by Dan LeBlanc, trained by Catherine Reed, driven by Rene Goulet. There's the 4. Unfortunately, the 5 came out before the 4 was Snoop DeLion. Steve Crump trains and owns, Jamie Junquist drives. There's the 6, Tally Ho. Walter Moreau's Willie Witchepin owns, Joe Ratchford trains, Phil Giesbrick drives. The 7 is going by Sangra Nitro. Ken Gunn owns, Ryan Grundy trains and drives. And the 8, Outlaw Stand and Deliver. This is your driver change for this race. Outlaw Stand and Deliver is owned by Paul Davies and Deborah Pinnell, trained by Paul Davies, and driven today by Nathan Sobey. And that's your field for the 5th. Back to you, Don.
Well, I'm not. Okay, so we've got Jim Reed back with us, so I'm going to have a quick little discussion about Track On 2. So go back to the inception and when the partnership group started getting involved and we're dealing with Bob Allen and taking and turning this when Bob had shut it and making it into the center that it is right now, Jim. It's been quite a story and got to be quite a trip.
Yeah, you know, it has been quite a trip. And back in the day, when we didn't have a lot of racetracks, I think this track, you know, came on board at the right time, kept the harness business sort of going while things were on the downswing. Now these 2 young guys from Red Deer bought it, and they seem to be invested in the fact of they like horse racing, and that's the positive of the future of this racetrack.
Every time I come out here, Jim, I see something different, something they've either cleaned up, something that they're working along with, some different ideas, whether it's in the restaurant or on the track. They really seem creative, and maybe a little bit of ideas from outside the industry is exactly what we need.
That's for sure, and like you say, they have a big 5-year plan. They like the horse racing. They're going to try to, you know, maybe put a hotel out here, some skating rinks and ball diamonds, and make it a place to come and have a good day, so to speak.
The potential of the whole land and what they have and stuff is incredible. So you've been also involved in the horses for a long time, Jim. Tell me about a couple of your favorite horses and a couple of your favorite experiences as being on the owner's side rather than being in the business development side and the track side.
Well, there was a time where we bred our own. Both horses made the racetrack. That's the part you always enjoy when you take them from inception, get them through the races and into a program. I've always enjoyed that. We've had a couple of horses that are racing here today that we brought into the business as 2-year-olds. They're still running 6-8 years later. That's kind of the enjoyment you get out of it all.
That's the incredible part. I honestly wish if I could change one thing about the race industry, I'd go back to racing stakes races at 3 and 4. I just think there's so much stress put on the horses at 2 and the 3 that we don't get quite as many 8-10-year-old horses as it used to be when I was a young guy handicapping at the races. Well, speaking of handicapping, I always see you with a program in your hand and looking to place a bet every once in a while. What's your favorite bet at the racetrack, and which one really gets you when you come to the races?
Well, you know, I'm not a big bettor. I don't bet a lot of money, but I usually always buy a quick pick on the races. It's like a $6.49 ticket. and then I take usually a 20-cent triactor box for $4.80 and hope for the best.
And the thing when you're taking those kind of shots, you might as well throw some long shots in there. All you have to do is win one every day to kind of make it even. So as we've seen little changes and as next year's planning is coming up, Jim, tell people a little bit about what they can expect from Track on 2 for next season.
Well, basically, we're working on a program next year that starts harness meet 1st of July. Hope it goes through the middle of October. We're going to do some Friday, Saturday, Sunday racing because this seems to be the way the public, the people like the fair atmosphere. I like it. So I think that's the future of this racetrack, and sort of build a business, like you say, from the yearlings to the 2-year-olds so they can become better and move to the A-track type of thing.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people don't understand every horse when they start isn't a first-class horse, and they need a place to be able to develop their skills. So I think it's a perfect time and a perfect place to have a beautiful facility like this. Ontario would love to have a fair track like this.
Yeah, and I agree with you. This is a beautiful facility, and when you see all the people in the picnic tables sitting out front, it's a show as well as an event, so to speak.
Yeah, it's an excellent job, Jim, by you and the team, and just wanted to say on behalf of the horsemen and obviously on behalf of ASHA, which I work for, thanks very much for your guys' contributions, and we hope we're working with you for a long time.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Back up to you, Colleen. I can see they're circling, and they should be getting to the gate here fairly quickly.
Thanks, Don. That was great. Couldn't have said it better myself. This is a beautiful old-time country fair atmosphere. You get to see the horses and the people up front. It's absolutely wonderful, and it's great for the horsemen, it's great for the fans, and most of all, it's great for the horses. Just a reminder, get your tickets on that Vegas draw. I see the ladies down there walking around in their pink shirts from Perky and Pink. The draw is September 29th, and it's hard to beat the entertainment here, but you might want to hit Vegas once to check that out. And again, after this race, we will have the stick races in front of the grandstand. As I mentioned earlier, Crystal and Nova are out there to give the horsemen a hand, not just to look so beautiful. And we now see Rick Schneider having to make a little bit of an adjustment. And Nova, Crystal's horse, will keep Rick's horse calm. Horses are herd animals, and they love to be beside another horse. So the number 2 horse, Mystery Dragon, just had a little bit of an adjustment Rick had to make. And our horsemen do pretty much everything themselves. Rick's one of those guys that has young horses. He breeds, he trains. He also puts shoes on his own horses. It's a family affair. His parents own horses. His brother owns and trains horses. Yeah, Crystal's out there giving them a hand. And now they all turn to the gate. And the starter, Jim Jakowitz, has called the horses. As they head to the gate, number 1, Mystic Ruler. Number 2 is Mystery Dragon. Number 3, Northfield Nellie. Number 4, Outlaw Dance with the Devil. Number 5 is Snoop DeLion. Number 6, Tolly Ho. Number 7 is Singa Nitro. And number 8, Outlaw Stand and Deliver. And they're all lining up behind the gate. And they're settled in and headed toward the fair start pole. Here they come. They're often pacing, and all noses were on the gate, but the one horse looks like he wants to take the front. Mystic Ruler would like to be in the front. The number 6, Tolly Ho, wants to challenge that a little. And Nathan Sobey has the 8 wanting to head to the front as well. And Nathan does get the front. No, I'm sorry. That's Phil with Tolly Ho on the front. The number 1, Mystic Ruler, in second. Mystery Dragon in third. And we went to the quarter in 27-1 with Outlaw Stand and Deliver in fourth. That is Nathan Sobey in fourth. And then we have a gap to the 3, Northfield Nellie. The 5, Snoop DeLion. The 2, Mystery Dragon. And we have movement on the backfield. 2 wide is the 7, Senga Nitro with Ryan Grundy. We went to the half in 56 and 1, and on the lead is Tally Ho. In second is Mystic Ruler. Nathan Sobey has popped. Outlaw Stand and Deliver is now in third. Number 2 is in fourth. Number 3, Northfield Nelly in fifth, and they're on the move with number 7, Senga Nitro, moving as well. The number 6, Tally Ho, is still out front. Went to the half in 56 and 1. We do have challengers close behind with the number 1, Mystic Ruler. We went to the 3/4 in 125. As they head down the stretch, you have Tally Ho on the front with the number 1, Mystic Ruler, close behind. The number 8, Outlaw Stand and Deliver in third, and North Philly in fourth. As they get close to the grandstand, it's still number 6, Tally Ho, number 8, Outlaw Stand and Deliver, number 1, Mystic Ruler. It's close for fourth between number 3, Northfield Nelly, and number 4, Outlaw Dance with the Devil. That mile went in 1:54, our fastest mile of the day, in 1:54. For unofficial winner, number 6, Tally Ho. Please hold all your tickets until the judges make that finish official. Unofficial results, number 6, your winner, Tally Ho. Number 8 in second, Outlaw Stand and Deliver. And the number 1, Mystic Ruler, in third. Your winner again, unofficially, is Tally Ho, and that mile went in 1:54 flat. As they watch the horses settle down after the race, the officials for the stick races are setting up. Watch the horses on the track and get ready to watch the stick horses in front of the grandstand. And we now have the top 4 up unofficially. Number 6, Tally Ho. Number 8, Outlaw Stand and Deliver. Number 1, finished third, Mystic Ruler. And rounding out your top 4, Outlaw Dance with the Devil. Again, that mile went for Tally Ho in 54. Hold all your tickets until the judges have given us the official rundown. As Tally Ho makes his way back to the winner's circle, he is a brown 6-year-old gelding out of Yankee Cruiser. The mare is Hi Ho Molly, and her sire is Hi Ho Silverheels. Tally Ho is owned by Walter Morose and Willie Witchepin, trained by Joe Ratchford, and driven today by Phil Giesrick. The mile again, 1:54. We have an entourage of beautiful ladies in the winner's circle, waiting to get their picture taken with Tally Ho and the trainer, Joe Ratchford, and the driver, Phil Giesbrick. Congratulations to all the connections of the number 6. It looks like the caretaker, Mike Raymond, is holding Tally Ho. Mike works very hard to help trainer Joe Ratchford take care of his horses, and we congratulate you all on this win. We are now official with number 6, Tally Ho, paying $390, $390, and $270. Exacta 6'8" paid $527.80 for the $2 Exacta. The $1 try, 681, paid $430.10. Sorry about that. The $1 Super, 6814, pays $396.70. Winner, $390, $390, $270. The number 8, $770, $540. Number 1, Mystic Ruler, paid $290. Time, 1:54. And if you look to your monitors now, the replay is showing. And the official rundown for race number 5, Mystic Ruler, finished 3rd. Number 2, Mystery Dragon, finished 7th. Number 3, Northfield Nelly, finished 5th. Number 4, Outlaw Dance with the Devil, finished 4th. Number 5, Snoop DeLion, finished 6th. Number 6 was your winner, Tally Ho. Number 7, Sanga Nitro, finished 8th. And number 8, Outlaw Stand and Deliver, finished 2nd. Top down, 3, 7, 5, 4, 6, 1, 8, 2. The 6th race is your final race of the day. We hope you've enjoyed your day here at the track on 2. Don't forget, we're not done. The entertainment continues here. In the 6th, my pick is Whiskey Throttle. Whiskey Throttle spent some time on this track this year, last year. He may need a start, but if he's right and if he behaves himself, he could be the best in here. Race 6 is non-winners 40,000 life, optional claiming 7,500, and we feature exacta, superfecta, and trifecta wagering. We'll go back down to Don for some commentary.
Thanks, Colleen. I'm getting a really good chance today to work with a lot of experienced trainers and drivers as opposed to a bunch of wet behind the ears young drivers. So I'm here with Sanford Campbell, and Sanford's going to help me go through the 6th race. Let's start with the first horse, Sanford, Sherburne's Blue, 4-year-old Blue Burner Gelding that Rod Starkowski is training and James Junquist driving. Horse has had some success in the condition claimers. What do you think about his chance in here?
Well, Rod is a really good trainer. I think that one horse is going to be really good. I don't know if it's going to win or not, but I think it'll be in the top 3. That's what I think.
The number 2 horse, Burnt Allen Billy, 5-year-old Blue Burner Gelding with Nathan Sobey training, driving, and I think he's had this horse right from the very beginning. This horse has shown flashes as a young horse, but the last little while in Dallin, California seems to have gone off form a little bit. Figure that the freshening up and the little bit will do him some good, Sanford?
Well, I'm sure it will, but I think he's heading back to California. But he needs a few starts. I don't think he's quite ready yet.
Number 3 horse, Senga Savannah, a 3-year-old Riverboat King Gelding. Ryan Grundy is a trainer and driver. This horse seems to be a horse that needs a helmet to come off of, usually pacing pretty good coming down the lane. How do you think this horse fits in here?
Well, he's got a nice long lane to stay on a helmet for, and I do like the Riverboat Kings. I like them, so I think he'd be all right in the future. Today, I'm not sure.
Number 4 horse, Better Be Good to Me. That Sanford, yourself is training and your son Brandon is driving. 4-year-old sports rider mare that I think you guys have had since it's gone to the races. Was a good little, or it looked like it was going to be a good little stakes filly, and now is racing in a little bit condition claimer classes. Had a little bit of a break. What do you think she'll be like in here, Sanford?
She was sick for a long time, and it took us a while and Brandon to get her back. And right now she's training good, and she will be racing good. I expect her to be in the top 3.
Filly against the boys, it never really doesn't seem to matter at this kind of class, does it, Sanford?
No, it don't. Especially this long stretch, it doesn't really matter.
The number 5 horse, Gonna Funk You Up, 4-year-old Yankee Cruiser Gelding, Kelly Ducharme training and driving. I remember this horse more from Rod Starkowski's barn, and seeing this horse as a young horse, thinking this horse was going to be a little bit better, just hasn't quite gone that way, Sanford. What do you think of this horse?
Well, like you said, it hasn't been racing very well. It's got to turn around. The last quarters have been pretty good, so if he gets a trip, he might be all right.
Okay, so the 6 horse is PT's Magic Mark, an 8-year-old Presidential Tower gelding that's trained by Lloyd Ducharme and driven by Mike Hennessy. Lloyd's been a trainer for a long time, Sanford. Do you think you'll have this horse ready to go a little bit today?
Well, there's a little bit of a driver change there, and I think Mike will give him a chance, so he could be up close.
Always a horse when I saw a couple years ago, I thought this horse should be a little bit better than what he'd been. And like you said, maybe the driver change will wake this horse up a little bit. 7 horse, Secrets Mystery, a 6-year-old Mystery Chase Gelding. Al Gertson is training and Jake Cutting is driving. What do you think of this horse's chances, and also a little bit about Jake Cutting and his young driving career?
Jake is a very nice young fella, and I think he's going to do really good once he catches on a little more. Like some of the older drivers are intimidating him, but I think he'd be a good driver very soon. And I think that 7-horse is going to be really good because he's out of the condition in the claimers, and I think he's going to be all right today.
Yeah, he looks like he's got a pretty good spot. I've noticed when Jake's driving, he's always got his heads up. Like you said, he needs a little bit more experience, but he's always got his head up there, which is good. 8-horse, Thunder Alley, 3-year-old Mystery Chase Colt, Rich Remillard training, and Rennie Goulet driving. What do you think of this one?
Well, he paced in 54 last time he raced, 8-hole. So he's got a long way to come, but I think he could be part of it. I don't think he'd be in the top 3, but he could be in the super.
And the 9-horse Whiskey Throttle, 4-year-old Vertical Horizon Gelling that Dave Kelly is training and driving. This colt had a real good string as a 3-year-old. As a 4-year-old, hasn't been quite as good. What do you think of this horse's chance, Sanford?
Well, he shows 2 minutes, and he's got to go 4 seconds faster today. But the 9-hole, he should be able to get away pretty good. But for the race, I think myself is a 4-7-1.
4-7-1, and I'm going to give the 9-horse a little bit of a shot here, I think, with a trip. Like you said, he's got to go quite a bit faster, but this is a really competitive race in my eyes.
Oh, it is.
And it's good to see you have some faith in your son and in your stable.
Well, I have to. I got to go back and talk to him.
Back up to you, Colleen.
Thanks, Don. Thanks, Sanford. As Don mentioned, Brandon is Sanford's son, and you'll see a lot of the same names on the program when you look it over, and this is a family-based industry, no doubt about it. We're going to watch the horses come past the grandstand as they go in post-parade, led by Crystal and Nova. The number 1... Nothing like wrecking the call to the post. Number 1, Sure Burns Blue. This horse is owned by Fun for Fans, trained by Rod Starkowski, and driven by James Junquist. The number 2, Burnt Island Billy, owned by Diane Bertrand and Robert Gillespie, trained and driven by Nathan Sobey. Number 3 is actually on your camera with Senga Savannah. Ken Gunn owns, Ryan Grundy trains and drives. There's the number 2, Burnt Island Billy. Again, Diane Bertrand, Robert Gillespie own, Nathan drives and trains. Better Be Good to Me, number 4, Peter Chanik, Dana Shore and Jody Lostis own, Sanford Campbell trains, Brandon drives. Number 5, Gonna Funk You Up. Kelly Ducharme owns, trains, and drives. Number 6, PT's Magic Mark just left the screen. Sharon Christensen, Evelyn Milne own, Lloyd Ducharme trains, Mike Hennessy drives. Number 7, Secrets Mystery, owned by Al Gertsen, trained by Al Gertsen, driven today by Jacob Cutting. And the 8, Thunder Alley, owned by Jim Wilson, Richard Remillard, and Valerie Emerson, trained by Richard and driven by Renee Goulet. And here comes the 9 to round out the field, Whiskey Throttle, owned by Dave Kelly and Richard McPhee, trained by Dave Kelly and driven by the trainer. The 1-horse Sure Burns Blue, just want to touch on that. Fun for Fans owns that horse. That the name of the owner is part of a program. It basically says it all. Fans and charities own that horse, and they get the proceeds from what that horse earns. This is our final race on the day. We'd like to invite you to stick around and enjoy the Funky Monkey. We have off-track betting that will be available. Next time you go out, just let everybody know what a fantastic time you had here at the Funky Monkey. The Track on 2 and the Funky Monkey Restaurant are open daily at 10. We offer VLTs and off-track betting daily. Don't forget, our next day of live racing will be next Saturday, September the 28th, and like today, post time will be 3:10. We're going to send it back to Dawn now.
Thanks, Colleen. So back with Sanford Campbell again. So Sanford, obviously this racing is definitely in your family. Obviously it's got to be fun as your career has gone on, from when you've trained forever, drove a lot, and now got your son involved in it. Tell me about your feeling of the industry and obviously working with your son in it.
Oh, it's great. Like, I've been here for 35 years doing this, and I said to Brandon 2 years ago, I said, listen, I'm going to slow down. I don't want to do this much more. You want to do it? I said, you want these owners? He said, oh, yeah. So him and Jody took them over, and they've been doing really good. I've been at the farm helping them, but it's all on Brandon and Jody, and it's good to sit back and watch. And Brandon's really, I think he's a good horseman.
Without a doubt, he's one of the top drivers pretty much every meet. Tell me a little bit about the difference when you're on the horse side of it. When you're setting horses up for the 11/16 track in Calgary, now you're on the mile tracks, the bigger stretches, both here and in Leduc. Have you found it different for your horses? Have you found some struggled, some better than others?
Some better than others because the turns are way bigger on these mile tracks. And down the lane, some of them don't like it, but they're getting better, and they're all learning. Like, it's hard to go from one track to another on different lengths, so it's going to be all right.
So you were up at the sale a couple weeks ago. Did you guys come out with any young horses, or what have you got for potential up in young comers?
Well, we bought one and bought one back, but we're going to BC. I think we want 2 or 3 more.
2 or 3 more. And so a guy that I think is a character that you guys have brought into the business, Ray Henry, as an owner, and the amount that he's involved and cheering his horses down the lane pretty much every time. Tell us about having Ray as an owner and having him in the business.
You're right, he's a character. 25 years ago I had a horse for Ray, and I used to mail him a bill, and all of a sudden I'd get an envelope in the mail full of cash, chains and everything. I can't believe I got it. But anyhow, he got out, and one day, 4 years ago, he said, I want back. So he put about $100,000 in the account, and we started buying horses and claiming for him, and he's a really good guy. He'll come to the farm every Tuesday with bags and bags of carrots, and he'll walk through the barn and say, who's that one? Which one is that one? And he'll stand there and watch us jog all his horses. Then he'll just wave and say, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, I find him extremely interesting. He's got to be fun when you have an owner who's willing to spend some money. And even when he has a couple horses where he's had a little bit of bad luck, Bo's Cowboy we saw earlier and stuff, but he's also had lots of horses you guys have had a lot of success with.
Yeah, and we had a lot of fun. He just wants to win pictures. He loves winning. He doesn't care if it's 4,000 or 20,000. He just loves to win races and to get his picture.
A little bit of a puncher too?
Yeah, not as much as you would think. Like 5 across, he bets numbers.
There's nothing wrong with betting numbers. Sometimes these programs are a lot tougher to read than we give ourselves credit for. Stanford, I want to thank you a lot for taking the time to come up here and help me. Best of luck with the horse, any horses you have here, and obviously up in Edmonton for the rest of the year. Thanks again, Stanford.
Thanks, Don.
Colleen, back up to you, Colleen.
Thanks, Don. Thanks, Sanford. Just a reminder, though, this is the last race of the day. We do invite you to spend the rest of your evening in the Funky Monkey. If you so choose, there is off-track betting and the races going on in there. It's a beautiful venue just to sit and relax, have some refreshments, enjoy some time with family and friends. The staff here is phenomenal for hospitality. So just sit and relax and enjoy the rest of your evening if you so choose. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thanks, kids, for putting on the stick races. That was a lot of fun and a little bit of extra entertainment. And I hope you enjoyed the barn tour, whoever chose to take that in. The horses are circling behind the starting gate, staying close and waiting for our starter to call them. On your screen, you see Thunder Alley making his way to the gate first. We do have a 9 horse that'll start from the second tier. That 9 horse can either follow the 1 or the 2 as he chooses. Number 1, as they line up on the gate, Sherburne's Blue, driven by James Junquist. Number 2, Burnt Island Billy, with Nathan Sobey. Number 3, Sanga Savannah with Ryan Grundy. 4, Better Be Good to Me, Brandon Campbell. 5, Gonna Funk You Up, Kelly Ducharme. 6, PT's Magic Mark, Mike Hennessy. 7, Secret's Mystery with Jake Cutting. 8, Thunder Alley with Rene Goulet, and rounding out the field, the 9, Whiskey Throttle, Dave Kelly. They pass the fair start pole, and they're off. And the 8, the 6, the 2, and the 1 look like they want to take the front, so we'll see how it settles out as they get into the turn. Nathan Sobey with the 2, Burnt Island Billy, looks like he's at the front. And the 1, Sure Burns Blue, is second. Mike Hennessy has the 6, PT's Magic Mark, in the 3rd position. In 4th, we have number 5, Gonna Funk You Up, with Kelly Ducharme. The 8, Thunder Alley, settles into 5th. The 2, Burnt Island Billy, is still on top with the quarter and 27 and 3. Sure Burns Blue in 2nd, PT's Magic Mark in 3rd, and Gonna Funk You Up in 4th. And now we have horses on the move on the backstretch. Number 6 popped out of the pocket and is still in 3rd on the outside. Number 5, Gonna Funk You Up, is still in 4th. On the move on the outside, looks like Dave Kelly with Whiskey Throttle. In the 6th position, we have Thunder Alley with Rene Goulet. Number 3 on the outside is Senga Savannah. Number 4 on the outside, Better Be Good to Me. And trailing the field at this moment is Secret's Mystery. That can change quick. At the half, we went in 56, and we have Burnt Island Billy still on the front. PT's Magic Mark on the outside in 2nd. Sure Burns Blue on the inside in 3rd, and we have a breaking horse on the inside. Stayed clear and got out of the way. Gonna Funk You Up. Great job, Kelly Ducharme. On the front end, we still have Burnt Island Billy. We went to the 3/4 in 25 and 4. Coming up the middle, we have number 6, PT's Magic Mark. On the inside, Sure Burns Blue. And Whiskey Throttle is powering on to the front with Dave Kelly, the 9, Whiskey Throttle. In 2nd now, PT's Magic Mark. Number 4, Better Be Good to Me, is trying to come up for 3rd with number 1 in 4th. Then the number 3, Senga Savannah, close. Your unofficial winner was Whiskey Throttle, the number 9. That mile went in 56 and 3 for unofficial winner Whiskey Throttle. Again, the number 9. Hold all tickets. The judges have asked for a photo. Hold all tickets until we make that official. Once again, unofficially, Whiskey Throttle in 1:56 and 3. Making their way back to the winner's enclosure is the unofficial 6-race winner, Whiskey Throttle. Whiskey Throttle is a bay gelding, 4-year-old, out of Vertical Horizon. Minetta's Lust for Me is the mare, and Lusty Leader is her sire. This horse is owned by the trainer-driver Dave Kelly and Richard McPhee. The horse was bred by Jennifer Clark of Pinoca. Whiskey Throttle finished that mile in 56 and 3, and we congratulate all the connections of the horse Whiskey Throttle. Unofficially, your top 4 now: number 9, Whiskey Throttle. Number 6, PT's Magic Mark, finished 2nd. Number 4, Better Be Good to Me, finished 3rd. And number 3, Senga Savannah, finished 4th. That mile again in 1:56 and 3. It's been a beautiful day at the track on 2 today, and we thank you for coming out and enjoying your day. As we wait for the official results from the judges, I want to thank everyone for joining us here. Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here when live racing resumes on the 28th, next Saturday at 3:10. From all of us at the track on 2 and the hardworking men and women on the backstretch, thank you so much for joining us. And now it is official, 9-6-4-3. Whiskey Throttle paid $21 to win, $12.40 for second, and $6 to place to show. PT's Magic Mark, $9.30-$4.70, and Better Be Good to Me, $3.60. The Sioux $1 Super 9-6 all paid $7.0250. The pick 4 carryover is $142.08. Number 2 Exactor 9-6, $3.59. The number 1 try 9-6 all, $194.25. Again, we thank you for joining us today. Whiskey Throttle, congratulations to the connections of the final race winner in 156 and 3. And the judges' official rundown for race number 6. Number 1, Sure Burns Blue, finished 5th. Number 2, Burnt Island Billy, finished 8th. Number 3, Sanga Savannah, finished 4th. Number 4, Better Be Good to Me, finished 3rd. Number 5, Gonna Funk You Up, finished 9th. Number 6, PT's Magic Mark, finished 2nd. Number 7, Secrets Mystery, finished 6th. Number 8, Thunder Alley, finished 7th. And number 9, Whiskey Throttle was your final race winner. From the top down, 5, 8, 4, 3, 9, 2, 6, 7, 1. Thank you all for coming out today. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you to Dawn for your commentary and all your guests.